Okay. That's a lame way to start an introduction with okay. So I'm going to start it with farting on Will. Ah. Sorry. Okay.
Did anyone check the audio levels?
Oh, yeah.
I see some levels.
There are indeed levels. Really?
They're leveling.
Yeah. That's about right.
That's about right?
Yep. Oh, God, it smells. Okay, so the movie's about to start, and we hope that you enjoy it.
Indeed.
Right now, the reason this DVD is called Work in Progress is because it's not fully complete. There's some sound missing, a lot of score missing, a lot of voiceover work missing, so you'll see some bad audio in there. Not a whole lot of music, just some temporary stuff, maybe even copyrighted stuff. That's why this isn't for distribution, and whoever you are, you probably shouldn't not know me. So, anything to add?
That's about it.
There's like 3 more scenes left.
Yeah.
And we'll be done. And this man to my right, I don't know if you can see him, but he's actually working on the DVD that you're about to view, so enjoy.
Enjoy.
You're about to see what we call the 60 eye shoots. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, this movie was taped on 24p advanced mode on the AGDVX100 video camcorder. The idea being to emulate the look of film without, with being too cheap to buy film for ourselves. So that works out really well. And on this,
I'm sure you've confused the audience thoroughly, because I know that not a lot of people are going to know any of those numbers mean.
You want to try to figure it out for them?
No.
Anyway,
they can struggle with it.
You'll see, compare this movie to maybe a soap opera, and you'll notice that the movie has a little bit more of a shudder, but it's kind of a pleasing shudder, because it looks like a real movie instead of a home movie.
What about those who don't know what a shudder is?
Fuck you! Those who don't know what a shudder is. I'm sorry.
Okay,
No.
what are we introducing?
We're introducing the scenes that we shot incorrectly.
The ones that we fucked up.
And, no, I fucked up. I'll take all because I'm the cameraman.
You should blame Chris a little bit, too.
There's a little dial on the back of the camcorder, and I had shot something with her brother the day before, and I put it on, the wrong one, the one that looks like a home movie.
Oops.
And I didn't. The next day, the only day that we ever shot 2 scenes in the same day, I shot every one of them incorrectly. So that meant that
every one of 2 incorrectly.
Well, they were pickups, so it includes more than just 2. See,
every one of more than 2.
Right. And I got home. I started capturing the footage. She came over my house, and I just started getting very upset. I didn't know whether to cry or to pound or, But anyway, Slam the door.
Repeatedly.
So we
and argue about how
we did go back and we reshot it. So that's what's in the movie, of course. But here are the pickups that morning, and we'll also show you the supermarket scene that was all shot incorrectly. So, if you didn't look at the 60 eye shoots already, go back and enjoy that intro, because that explains all the technical hocus pocus. But next you'll see
magic.
Yes. Next you'll see the supermarket scene that was shot that night, completely incorrectly, and it required all kinds of stuff. It required the manager who lives kind of far away, and I think he was even late for work that day, so it was a big pain to have to ask him to come back, but he was nice enough to do it. But what was interesting about it, and it'll be fun for anybody who's interested in filmmaking out there to see where reshooting something can
make the scene so much better.
Yeah, because we didn't. If you'll see, there's no carriages in this one. That was improv on the spot. I mean, most things were improv on the spot. I know that's hard to believe, but more carriages. The angles are a lot better, and the color vibrancy in the original, in the one that made it into the film, is way better. But this one, God, it looks like crap. Don't let the audio levels confuse you. We didn't shoot it with very good audio either, but it's just overall a really crappy piece, and we hope you enjoy it. The following is one of those 60 eye shoots that was shot incorrectly, but the fun of it is, it was a flashback within a deleted scene shot wrong. So it belongs nowhere in the film. it was going to be Miguel sort of idolizing porn stars and wanting to be as skinny as them, and he flashes back to watching his father watch porn. So it's 3 shots. It looks like crap, and you shouldn't watch it. Press stop on your remote control now, or DVD title menu. Do not watch the following. Thank you.
Drawer than a bag.
So the following is us standing outside of the location that we shot the beef burger scene in, and it's really an example of what we're doing right now, taping ourselves talking, and then looking at it later. So
self-importance and all that.
Both the introduction of us just talking at ourselves, really, we're the only ones watching this, and the interview itself can be enjoyed. So hello, Frankie, if you're watching this, and that's about it. Just us going on and on for like 5 minutes, just making jokes. And Corey Huntington did not have his jaw surgery yet, and the next day he would.
And I was feeling like crap at that particular moment.
And got mono.
He was dying.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the fun part of the disc. Unless you've already been having fun in this carnival of a DVD. This is the blooper reel, although sort of wrongly named, because it's not so much a blooper reel as it is like things where the camera kept rolling and we find funny. Lots of inside jokes, but some that we can all enjoy. But again, not too many people watching this disc probably don't know me. So
a lot of it's just Alan going off the handle, and
yeah,
very comical at times, though very frustrating actually on the set.
You might actually catch me in there too.
Yeah.
Yes, like twice. Who are you?
I don't know.
Oh,
I just saw a camera, so I decided to hop in.
He did have a boom at one time.
I'm glad that somebody reframed the shot to fit you in then.
Pretty nice of them. Thanks, Nina.
Most generous.
Yeah, he did a lot of booming, as well as Nina, as well as Corey. So if the boom dips into frame, it's probably one of those 3.
Or me.
That you can, or one time him, you can shake your fingers at. Okay, you've heard too much of my voice. Enjoy. It's feature length, and still adding on. Okay, we're going to start breaking into some deleted scenes. Thus far deleted scenes. There might be more later on. But this is a scene called Catholic Cafeteria. And it was... What's the fucking problem?
Huh? No.
People behind the camera.
Assholes.
The fun of this was... What?
Really dirty old men looking through a peephole.
Looking through the viewfinder. It was one of the few scenes that required a lot of extras aside from the courtroom scene. Another deleted scene. And that's a lot of work. So Millette, the guy who lended us his house for Miguel's house, and the guy who played God, did another thing for us. And he took his classroom and other classrooms, because
he's a teacher at our high school.
He's a teacher at our high school, and literally made them be extras in our film.
He broke a lot of rules.
It was awesome. So this isn't during lunchtime or anything. This is during class. We have all these people there, and they were fairly excited to be part of it, and it was a lot of fun. And the other half of the scene is still in the film, and it works. But this scene just it doesn't get us anywhere. And the scene coming after it, the classroom scene, has a lot more. It moves us a little bit more, and we want to just kind of rush to that rather than. It's funny to make fun of a school full of Catholic kids condemning this one pagan boy.
Because that's what our high school was like.
Basically. And what was really cool about this scene was how it was essentially just Nina and I making a movie. Really nobody else there.
It was a little crazy.
Yeah, it was weird. So, enjoy, I guess. Not really that good, but have fun. The following doesn't really belong anywhere on an I Need to Lose 10 Pounds DVD, but it belongs to be seen, I hope, because I was kind of proud of the way it evolved. I now go to Emerson College, where there was an actual assignment in my exoticism and literature and art class. You see how transferable that is?
It's very artistic.
Yes. To go out in public as the other, they were saying. So you could go out... the example was as a drag queen. So you could go out to a familiar place dressed as something unfamiliar, or you could go to an unfamiliar place as yourself. So there were some lame projects in the class where people just kind of went to, like, I remember one of them was an Almanian Christmas bazaar.
Some people just wrote poems about their project.
Yeah, so they didn't really... I thought you had to prove the fact that you went out and did this. So the
Frankie just wanted to play with the camera.
and play with myself. So the day before the assignment was due, I went out with Alan and Nina, and we went on to the town, and we shot all of our stuff, and we had some interesting results. And I'm wearing her dress, and she shoots the majority of it, except for the stuff in the mall. That was shot by
I shoot
Alan.
all the stuff that looks really, really good.
Yeah. So, and then my partner, I had a partner who is also in the movie. He was kind of upset that he wasn't in it himself. So the night before, we grabbed the camera and ran outside, right outside of our dorm room in Boston, and shot his segment. And we found it was kind of fun to play with the editing of this because we intercut both of our stories. And it's a 20-minute video, but I don't think it feels that long because of the fact that it's intercut. And it's also interesting to compare how people respond to a drag queen in rural Massachusetts versus the city of Boston. So
Also one that looks feminine and one that has a beard.
well, yeah, because he's gay. So and so am I. So enjoy
Aren't we all?
enjoy. It's fun. The following scene is the famous or infamous funeral home scene. Now this was recorded in the funeral home that her family owns, and it was the first shoot of the entire film because we had to have Asian people in it, but there were no Asian people in the town to get them in there. So when the Japanese foreign exchange students came around to our high school, we stole the only male, and literally
He
stole.
literally kidnapped him. He did not know where he was going.
was at his-
He barely spoke English.
He was at his host's family, and Corey Huntington and the guy who plays Willy Wonka in the scene went in and took him. We took him, and he acted, and it was great. But we bought him the clothes that he's wearing in the scene. They're way too big for him, so we had to get the belt off of Will Fort and put it on him so his pants wouldn't fall down. But he actually had a great time. There's so many things to mention about the scene. One is that that is Silly Wonka in the yellow shirt. It's played by you'll notice the guy who's in the support group scene,
In the back of the courtroom, if you watched it.
and in the very back of the courtroom. He was the original Silly Wonka because that day the one that we had cast didn't show up, so he was crew. So he showed up, and we bought a costume for him because the original cast member had the costume, and he went right in, and it was great. It was fun. But then he started to get kind of paranoid and weird, and just
Didn't want to do it.
quit from the movie out of nowhere, which really fucked us. And
It
instead
screwed us in the ass.
we so now Corey Huntington became the third Silly Wonka cast, and I think did an expert job. And what else to mention?
Took forever.
It took like 7 hours. It took from 5 a.m. to noon, and the reason it took that long, aside from the fact that we had to wait for like thrift stores to open to. We had to wait for thrift stores. Did you hear how like the gas went down and then out?
Had the only real choreography.
It had the only real choreography, so that took a long time. We're trying to direct somebody who didn't speak English. It was our first shoot, and they're still laughing about my fart. And
That was really bad.
and how John Hunt took it incredibly seriously and brought lights and all kinds of shit, and like
Fog machine.
there's a fog machine. So we thought the whole movie was going to be like this.
This is the hardest thing.
But John set up the lights in a way that made it so I couldn't shoot in the backwards direction. So we just kind of, for some reason, kept it like that. So you can see it really only goes in about 2.5 directions. Except for like key things. And it's still not even complete. We were going to go back and do pickups for it.
And then there's
but-
all kind of screwed up stuff. Like you can see Tamoya in the background at the end. Paper towel.
Tamoya's
on
the
a
Japanese
chair.
guy. We
Camera bag.
yeah, the camera bag is in there. There's all kinds of
It's
crap.
all.
It was our first shoot, but come on, the fight scene was pretty cool. The reason we didn't just reshoot this scene was because in the end the only purpose of having the scene was to get the bomb on Miguel, which we can move to another scene that hasn't been shot yet. One of the only scenes that hasn't been shot yet, and that's exactly what we intend on doing. So until then, enjoy this very, very classic first ever scene, and goodbye. The following is right before, during the classroom scene when you hear the teacher kind of babbling on in the background. This is the video of that, because we taped it, and it was only meant for audio to tape it, but it's just a lot of fun to have this guy on videotape. He's a really classical teacher and a very classical actor, as it turns out. And here he is, the fully extended, full-length version of Mr. Hennessy speaking to us, speaking just to the camera, and teaching a very, very, very basic mathematical function. The next feature I'm very pleased to show you and to give you. It is entitled How Hitler Stole Hanukkah. And it was essentially the first movie I've ever made in my life, aside from, like, messing around with camcorders when I was 6, putting a Pee Wee Herman mask on my father and making him read "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," that kind of stuff. But this was it spawned from watching that whole Clinton versus Yugoslavia thing that was going on at the time, and I thought Slobodan Milosevic would be really funny. He would look like a really funny Santa Claus, and yeah, he kind of was the Grinch of that Christmas. But Jews rhymes with who's, and I had already drawn a little Santa Claus outfit on a Hitler figure that I had made in the computer. So I thought that would work out really well. And it just kind of developed, and I was going to animate it with construction paper, and I wish I had some to show you, but I threw them all out. But instead, I got my video editing software that year, and I was able to animate it in Adobe Premiere, just frame by frame. It's all drawn in Paint, Windows Paint. So it taught me a huge amount about animation, and I was able to develop my skills that way. But it was a lot of fun. It was done when I was 14, so I did it pretty much completely by myself. So please enjoy. So I hope you enjoyed How Hitler Stole Hanukkah. Now is time for the sequel. 2 years later, after it sort of became a classic amongst my friends, not amongst anybody else, we decided to make a sequel for it, and I had just seen Frosty Returns, which is voiced by John Goodman, and really funny and stupid, and I wanted to do the same thing, except no one really knows people know the Frosty Returns story, but I wanted to make the Frosty story with Hitler, and that's really all I can say about it. And it also shows how much I learned about animation within those past 2 years, and I was able to collaborate with John Hunt, who I'd been working with more often, and he was able to do the score for this. So I also lend my voice to everybody, including Karen the Slut, which we were going to make another sequel called Karen's Cool Christmas KKK, but it never worked out because we wanted to make it too big, so bye. This is one of the 2 rehearsals that we did and recorded. This is generally an unrehearsed film, so that's why there's so much improv, and that's why there's so much chaos and unorganization.
That's why there's so many bloopers.
That's why there's so many bloopers, because there's no rehearsals. But in this case, we were waiting for Meredith Pease, who plays the mother, to show up on set, and we just went for it. Because I had the script, I memorized the lines the night before, so I had all my lines memorized, and I was just trying to get into character and do the whole thing, because I don't really do a whole lot of acting. But Nina stood in and read for it, Meredith. Was that fun?
Well, it was interesting, because I was originally supposed to play the part.
That's true. But
and thank God I didn't.
One might say that. She might say that.
He would say it if I wasn't here.
But that's about all I can say. You'll find it's kind of funny when Phil delivers a line not the way it is in the real movie. That's the funniest to me. Bye. The following, if he was here, he could tell you more about it. But it's just Alan Damaris improving for fun. Has nothing to do with the movie. Might work well as a trailer or something. But there are a couple of cool. We just had an empty auditorium to ourselves. It was when we shot the stuff behind the stage, where he's messing with the lights and he runs up on stage. So we just had an empty auditorium to ourselves, and Miguel wanted to give a speech, and that's what he does. This should be fun to anybody who really, really likes the movie. So probably no one's going to select this option, but except for Zach Carlisle, Adita Shaleski.
I might have been bored.
It's a very, very old version of the script. But then technically every version of the script is old because we always rewrite the scene the night before. Yeah?
And the minute before and the hour before.
Hey,
Hey.
what's going on?
Nothing. What's going on here?
Just right in the middle of an introduction.
You're ruining the
really?
shot.
No, it's okay. It'll be interesting.
So they come right now. Will, could you please find another parking spot because you never leave, and that's my parking spot, and now I can park in the fucking tundra. So
Okay.
can you just, like,
Jeez, Michaela, you're being an awful bitch today.
Yeah, I hope I am.
This
right?
whole week, you're being an awful bitch.
And all this, okay? It's
Uh-huh.
my fucking house.
And sometimes
No,
this
it's
happens.
not your fucking house. You're never here.
15 fucking years, I think I can park where the fuck I want. No one else should be parking in my spot. You understand?
Oh, your spot. Oh. Calm yourself, Christ. PMS mania.
So enjoy.
Enjoy.
You want to start us off?
Sure, the next thing we're going to watch is Sumos, which was a short film that we made without a lot of forethought, really. We just sat down and felt a little inspired, threw together a script, and went out with the camera.
It's kind of corny, but the credit at the beginning when Kids Get Bored Productions was the spirit of the whole thing. It's very amateur. It was shot with a, this is our first movie that we made together, which was a lot of fun. Since we had already written the script to I Need to Lose 10 Pounds, it was sort of like the practice of the practice of the practice. And you'll see, it was shot on a telescope tripod. So some of the panning shots go like, and don't work out too well. Of course, you're probably thinking, well, why didn't you just grease it?
Oh, yeah. We were, what, 5th grade, so...
Yeah, we were.
These thoughts don't occur.
You'll see in the film we're about 2 years old each. No, we were 13. So,
And this was right after we had heard some of, like, the first things that John showed us that he composed.
Yes.
So naturally, those made it into the movie.
good thought. In one of the scenes, it'll become kind of self-evident. A John Hunt piece is in there, and we were very delighted to have our one of the first movies we made scored by John.
Yeah.
Something that would develop in the future. Anything else to add about? I remember one conversation. We were out in the backyard with the tripod and the by the way, the camcorder was an 8mm home camcorder that was bought in 1989 by my parents. So we were like, oh good, we got a camera, we can make a movie. And it was I went out there and I said, we look like two complete idiots. And Will goes, really? I think we look quite professional. And
Camera plus kids equals movie.
I remember when editing it, you'll see it. I don't want to ruin too much, but when I hit the window with the broomstick, we couldn't stop laughing. We just kept playing it. I don't know why it was so funny to us. It's not really that funny to me anymore, but you'll see. Enjoy. The next scene that you're about to see is called the courtroom scene. It was probably the most struggled with scene thus far in editing. Big pain in the ass. You want to tell them why?
Basically, it sucks. We did a lot of work on it, but it just didn't work out at all.
The original idea was that the courtroom scene on paper was a really funny idea. And it also had some topical humor, some satire, and I actually moved the whole structure of the script to bring that forward and to bring it back some so that people could enjoy it and move the movie along. So the courtroom scene originally in the script was supposed to play after the Bulimia song, but instead it ended up between right before Richard Simmons interviews the fat people and right after he goes to Beefy Burger. But we realized that it went nowhere. It accomplished nothing, and it should be
We had
taken
a
right
problem
out.
with casting.
It made a problem with casting.
We cast John Hunt in the role of the judge.
We didn't have a
last
judge.
minute because the judge didn't show up.
Yeah,
So we had to put in a line about that, but it was kind of funny.
you'll see that. That's very funny, but other than that, and also, but there was a big turnout. I remember we went out with signs that said, if you want to be an extra and you want some free food, come inside. And we had Rice Krispie treats, fruit punch and
Butter crackers.
and what?
Peanut butter crackers.
And peanut butter crackers available. And really only the kids as the extras had any of them. But it was really unorganized because we didn't have really anybody cast. We didn't have Marcus or Garvey cast either. And
The two guys that did do it, though, they did an excellent job.
they did an excellent job, and they had just shown up in suits. It was great.
Yep.
One of them was a billionaire. We should have asked him to fund the movie. But,
Next time.
yeah, next time. So,
Missed opportunity.
but all family members are in the scene. You can see my sister's the attorney. My mother is the gasping woman in the crowd, and my father is the bailiff. And Corey Huntington's father, assistant director Corey Huntington, is in this as well. He says, and I have to drop off my kids there on Sunday or something. You'll see him. And his brother and sister are both in the scene.
You'll also notice Peter is one of the people in the...
One of the extras and Gus
Yep.
are both in there. And
And
the
Miguel's
mom.
also, yep.
So, ton of people in this. It's really kind of hack jobbed and lame, and trying to make a good scene didn't work. The lighting seemed kind of weird, and in fact, there are lights in the scene that people thought were lighting of ours, but it was true lights. But the fact that we got to do this at all was sort of a challenge and a fun challenge. But in the end, it belongs on a DVD.
Yep.
And Zach's in the scene. Next is Safety Goggles, a short film that Nina and I and Alan Damaris, star of I Need to Lose 10 Pounds, action hero Alan Damaris, starred and wrote in, and
That's where he
had
got
fun.
his first start in the film industry.
That's true, and he had much shorter hair, and he sorry Alan, but he looked kind of young, but so did I. I looked about half the size that I am now. Nina appears in it very briefly. See if you can spot her. There's a digital zoom on her, but she's not in it much.
The Waldo effect.
But that is where she and I met. So it's kind of a nostalgic film, and
It has an important message.
it also added to the. I did this after How Hitler Stole Hanukkah, so the animation kind of developed, and we had a lot of fun with that. It was based on a science teacher that was very adamant about the whole safety goggle safety thing.
So the next thing you're going to watch is Ride Central Ride, which is something that I made when I first got Adobe Premiere onto my computer. It was a really simple project, just 4 pictures and a couple other things that were thrown together. But it was a lot of fun to make. I was kind of inspired to make it because of a song that was on my computer that John gave me. And neither of us really knew what the origin was to it. But I showed it at a couple places and showed it to my friends and eventually put it just this week onto an internet download site where it's gotten almost 9,000 downloads. And it's just something fun and short to watch. Hope you enjoy it.
The following is entitled Lifetime, making fun of the television channel Lifetime. The idea was something that you saw on television. What?
Yeah, pretty witty title there, huh? Well, my mom watches a lot of Lifetime, and having her watch it a lot meant that I, watched a fair amount. Not, like, intentionally or anything, but that was just what was on the TV. And it was always this movie about this woman who has been... She's been given the raw end of the stick, and she has to fight some big battle against the man world.
But there was one in particular, it was about curtains, remember?
Yeah, and there was this one particular movie that she was watching, and some woman was arguing about how she didn't want curtains made by child labor.
Or drapes.
Or drapes, or whatever it was.
Are they the same thing? Whatever.
Anyways, doesn't want it made by child labor, and the man who works at the drape shop is telling her, well, if you don't get drapes, you can't open that hotel, and blah 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 blah. And she felt very triumphant when she just said, no, I'm not going to buy it from here, and left. And so she's basically arguing this point, like, that makes her seem so wonderful and so charitable, and yet she's not using, like, logical arguments. Like, you could have made the argument logically, but she just decides not to. It's all emotion.
So what we did was, I was rewriting the scene with Corey Huntington, and we thought we can do better than drapes. So we came up with catheter bags, which there's actually no such thing as a catheter bag. It's just a catheter. We wouldn't realize that until after we shot the scene. As far as shooting the scene itself, the actors in it, I just needed actors, so because I wanted to shoot a scene that day. So I called Matt Zagar, who plays Richard Simmons, and he came up with Brian Lavoie as the guy, and Kate something as the woman. I don't know her last name, I'm sorry. And she's just this middle-aged woman. She did an awesome job. Sorry to cut her scene because she came all the way out from Seekonk, which is about a half hour away. But it was nice of her to come out and do that, and we shot it in somebody's backyard on Robert Street in Westport, Mass. So, and if you watch the blooper reel, you'll actually see where the property owners start to get a little confused. But enjoy wife time.
So the next thing that you're going to watch is what we filmed as we were walking across the beach to go do the scene with me in the water. And I was already sick. We didn't prepare for it very well. And I frankly didn't particularly feel like going in the water. It was the middle of October, it was a little bit cold out, and I didn't have, like, the necessary things that one would need, like a towel. And so this is just a little bit of commentary that we had on the way there, things that we thought of,
And it was raining.
yeah,
It was drizzling.
it was starting to rain. It was a pretty miserable day.